Hello library Tillaners. I thought I'd bring you somewhere a little bit different actually for the next nature connection video that I'm doing in Much Wenlock, and I brought you up to the old cemetery, which, as you can hear, is quite close to the main road that runs towards Bridgnorth. But where I'm looking now, down onto the housing estate and to where the primary school is, used to be where the old racecourse was running through the fields of the town. And this place, this old chapel in front of me, was built in 1890, and that's when the cemetery was opened, as the graveyard around the church in the town was full. I've been coming up to the old cemetery now for about 18 months, because I write a piece each month in the Wenlock Herald, and I've got to know this place and to love this place. And what I love about it are the wildflowers and the areas that have been left for nature. So just coming in today, I'm looking at the old graves and noticing the bees buzzing around on the cornflowers here, this beautiful, beautiful blue. And then you've got some pink geraniums, cranesbills coming up as well, and the aquilesias growing alongside it, some white bluebells over there as well. Looking behind me now, we've got three areas that are just starting to come into the Wildflower Meadows. We like to leave these longer, these areas of grass where we have a slowworm piece of corrugated metal that is warm enough to provide habitat for them. Looking amongst the wild grass already, I can see lots of primulas. I can see yarrow coming up here as well, this feathery lovely frond that was used for millennia really as a staunch wound. It's really good for stopping bleeding. It's also a really nice tonic to drink for calming the internal organs as well. Lots more flowers are going to come up in there as time goes on. We tried to get the council to cut this grass less frequently than the modern new cemetery behind, and that allows these wildflowers to come, and May in particular is the best time for them to start seeding, as the insects come out of hibernation and they need the nectar. And you know, I love daisies. Daisies are a wonderful plant, not just as a pollinator, but also, you know, we all made daisy chains as kids, but they are kind of like our natural arnica. They can be used in bruise ointments as well. And one of my favourite plants here is plantain. This is ribwort plantain. You can see the seed heads are just starting to go over to flower. This is something that I use a lot to make salves. It's a really good skin healer and also internal healer. It's got really calming qualities and it helps your digestive system. So it makes a really lovely tea. But up here at the old cemetery, there are so many wildflowers growing amongst the graves. And I love that. I love that nature's been allowed to reclaim a place. We're actually trying to get this place to become a designated nature reserve for the town. And it would make a beautiful space to do that. There's lots of forget-me-nots coming around this old grave as well, and you've got all the wallflowers around the old chapel here, which this year have actually been flowering throughout most of the winter. It's been such a mild winter that they never really stopped. It's a calendula here, beautiful flower coming up, and also loving the mist starting just there. Cutleaf cranesbill coming, which will flower as well. And I'm going to walk down the edge here, and you can see we've planted a row of trees, and these are going to be rowan, mainly rowan, and there's some more down the middle path. The trees that we chose were actually chosen specifically for their flowering nectar and for their berries for winter birds. And again, it's all about creating habitat, creating a place where nature can thrive, as well as it being a space where people can come and remember their loved ones. This rowan tree has already started to flower. We only planted these a couple of months ago, so it's really wonderful to see. Yeah, they're doing really well. And again, started to rain on me now. And the one thing I would say about the old cemetery is that we're quite high up above the town, so it takes a lot of the weather, and that can be an interesting thing, because you know it can be quite wild and windy and a little bit cooler up here. But the one wonderful thing about it for me is that you get this view, which I'm just going to pan in for, in the distance, of the Wrekin. There we go, the Iron Age capital of the Canovii, the Wrekin hill fort in the distance. And as you'll know from my other blogs and talks, I'm pretty keen on hill forts in Shropshire. So I'm walking down now to the north wall, where we've started to put 2 new flower beds. These have been sown with wildflowers, and it'll be a case of seeing what comes up. I've also planted some feverfew in here, some geraniums, purple toadflax that you can see the leaves of coming up, just to have a little bit of things in before the wildflowers start. And over in this bed here that was cut at a similar time last year, it's now been sown with wildflowers, and we're going to wait and see what arrives. And I'm just panning around so you can have a good look at the site of the old cemetery, and I'll put some photographs on as well. There's some wonderful old graves in here. You know, these are over 100 years old, a lot of them. And whilst the people and the families might no longer be around, this place is a special place, and it's a place that I love to come to. And it's like all old cemeteries around the country. They can be places for wildlife as well, if they're managed well. I'm just looking around this top corner where we've got the benches actually, and the daffodils that have gone over from last month. We've got wild strawberries coming in this grave, which would be lovely. New lilac tree here, just coming into flower. It's beautiful. And another old grave, you know, and you can see the ribwort plantain here, really tall, doing really well because it doesn't get cut, in amongst the cranespill, the geraniums, and the primulas, and the grass heads blowing as well. And I'm just going to come and sit on my favourite bench in this little sheltered bit with the Wrekin in the distance, and just soak up the atmosphere of this place with all the bird song that's going on in the background. So, not a secret place this month, not one of my hidden little places along Wenlock Edge or under the trees, but a public place in the old cemetery. And wherever you live in this country, and certainly in this county, you're going to find somewhere like this that maybe you can go and explore and just see what life is going on around you. The clouds very dramatic today. We've had a few showers. Beautiful silver birch there with the bark at the bottom, really white and shining. Oh, and relax. Bye for now.